Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Shila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Shila Prabhupada Shri Ram Sankirtan ki Jai Shila Prabhupada ki Jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 10, Chapter 76, chapter entitled Battle Between Shalva and the Vishnis, text number 25. Shalvanikapa shastroghair Vrishni Bhrishatitaha Na tatyaju ranam swam swam Lokadvajigishavaha Shalvanika Pashastra Ghaur Vrishni Vira Bhrishatitaha Na tatyaju ranam swam swam Lokadvajigishavaha Shalvanika Pashastra Vrishni Vira Bhrishatita Na Tatajo Ranam Swam Swam Tatyaju Lokadvaya Jigishavaha. Mataji. Word to word meaning Shalva of Shalva, Anikapa of the leaders of the army, Shastra of weapons, Oghai by floods, Vrishnivira, the heroes of Vrishni clan, Brisha extremely, Ardita pained, Na Tatyaju, they did not abandon, Ranam, the places on the battlefield, Swam Swam, each their own, Loka, the words, Dvaya, two, Jagishava, wishing to conquer. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Because the heroes of Vrishni clan were eager for victory in this world and the next, they did not abandon their assigned posts on the battlefield, even though the downpour of weapons hurled by Shalva's commanders tormented them. Purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, the heroes of the Yadu dynasty were determined to either die on the battlefield or to gain victory. They were confident of the fact that if they would die in the fighting, they would attain a heavenly planet, and if they would come out victorious, they would enjoy the world. Champions. Omagyanatimirandhasya ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामने गौरतुषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नीलाचलनिवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim. Yat kripatabham bande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram. Hare Krishna. So I humbly seek blessings of all the assembled devotees, especially Prem Sarup Prabhu, Shinitaya Prabhu, Shri Ram Raghav Prabhu, and all the assembled devotees here, so that we may be able to speak on this beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam for purification of our heart, for the glorification of Lord and His devotees, as a service to all devotees, and for benefit of everyone. So in Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada writes a very interesting statement. Srila Prabhupada says, one's greatness has to be estimated by one's ability to tolerate the provoking situations. And when we talk, so that means a person is great how he tolerates. But when we talk of tolerating does not just mean that the provoking and difficult circumstances are here and one is somehow or the other just, you know, just tolerating and doing nothing. But real meaning of tolerating means it's not an inaction. It means we are acting in devotional way in Krishna consciousness in all circumstances, right? Whatever type of difficulties and problems may be coming, right? You know, so we do our part, we do our duties, you know, in all circumstances, and we don't get discouraged, we don't get disheartened, but continue despite all the obstacles, so many obstacles and difficulties. And if we act for pleasure of Krishna, uh, everything becomes so auspicious. Like here, we are seeing in today's verse, uh, and in the whole section, the verses are from 6 to 25. We'll be reading now all the verses. But this very theme is very, very important that we need to, anyways, act. But only when we act for Krishna's pleasure, right? Then everything is so wonderful. And when we don't act aligning ourselves with Krishna's pleasure, with Krishna's will, Krishna's desire, then we may try to make some create some other our own plans. Like here we'll be just now start seeing. When we try to create our own plans and try to think that maybe I can do something which is not Krishna's will, right? Then actually nothing is going to happen because Krishna's will be always there. Right? Whatever Krishna wants is going to happen, and in the due course, whatever uh, we will be, uh, trying to go do things against Krishna's will, that will only become problem for all us only, right? So either voluntary, so that we only have two options. So although Jiva may make so many plans, but finally whatever Lord desires, only that happens. And hence we don't have much options. Option we have is either we voluntarily align with Krishna's will and act accordingly despite all obstacles. Jai Shri Shri Nathai Gauranga Bhagwan ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. And if you do that, then success is guaranteed both here and in the next world, as mentioned in this verse. And this is a symptom of a devotee. A devotee means he will align himself with the desire of the Lord, and then success is guaranteed. Or the second option is that we'll make our plan, our own plan, but uh, because one may be trying to go against the Lord's wish, Only we will suffer, right? But we won't be able to create any damage to Lord's plan, and His plan will remain as it is. But such kind of action is demonic, right? So these are the two options. We always have. We can choose how do we act. So we will see this. What theme just now we spoke. Now we from starting from text 6, we'll see both these things uh, where one may align with Krishna's will, how he can go on, and he need to also do tolerating, just like yesterday Shriram Ragapur was explaining so nicely that our this Shalva, is doing such a big austerity. He's just eating dirt, for 1 year. You know, Eating nothing else, such a heavy austerity and tolerating. He must be going through so much difficulty. He's tolerating and disciplining himself to try to, do something, but it is all against the will of the Lord, right? And what happens because of that, we will see, now, you know, and then we will see that how the devotees they also act. Uh, and they also need to tolerate so many difficulties and obstacles. But it is all aligning with the will of the Lord, and hence their life, their austerities are glorious, and the results they obtain is super glorious. So, continuing from the text number 6, that is yesterday, uh, we discussed that how Shalva performed the austerities, and finally Lord Shiva uh, is satisfied. Srila Jiv Goswami and Srila Sanatan Goswami commenting on these verses. Sanatana Goswami especially says that a voice from the sky spoke since Shiva did not personally appear. So it says that Lord Shiva did not appear because he was not at all happy. He already knew that Shalva's desire, Shalva's plan is demonic and it's not going to be fulfilled. So he was not at all happy. And that's why he took 1 year to come. And even in 1 year, as per Sanatan Goswami, didn't appear in front. He just spoke from the sky. As Sanatana Goswami says, he was not internally pleased with the demon. It is not stated that he appeared directly. So that's why. So today's verse we will see, right? So I'll just read the translations. Shalva chose a vehicle that could be destroyed by neither demigods, demons, humans, Gandharvas, Uragas, nor Rakshasas. That could travel anywhere he wished to go, and that would terrify the Vrishnis. And the acharyas give commentary that this vehicle he asked for was, it will come further. So it is the next verse. So he asked for such a vehicle. An important word here is Vrishni Bhishanam. So in this regard, acharyas give Jiv Goswami gives an interesting commentary. He says that he chose a vehicle which will terrify Vrishnis, Vrishni Bhishanam, but it would not kill anyone, right? So in that way, Jiv Goswami says that this last part of the benediction was inspired by Lord Shiva. So that means Lord Shiva inspired him to speak, to ask benediction like this. He could have asked, which will destroy the entire Vishnu clan. That was his idea, but he didn't spoke that. He said, just Vishnu loko darayega. That's all. So in that way, we can understand that how much ever one may have an idea, full-fledged idea of this is what I want to accomplish. But if it is not in line with the Lord, somehow the other things will happen in a way that one will be actually used by the plan of the Lord, right? One can do no harm to the Lord's will. And also Jiv Goswami gives another comment. He says that Lord Shiva, the question may be asked still why Lord Shiva gave benediction, because he knows that this is, you know, so demonic. This is so much against the will of the Lord. He is actually going to disturb the devotees. So why Lord Shiva gave? So then Jiv Goswami says that he actually gave the benediction because the Lord had a great desire to fight. Right? That means again the point is that means if ever at all someone has a desire against Lord's will, or he has some demonic desire, that will be fulfilled only if Krishna's will is getting fulfilled, right? So that will be only used, and hence a demon's life, or a person who doesn't align with Krishna's will, Krishna's desire, you know, then there's no question of any success in those desires, in those thought processes, right? Only what is, what Krishna wants is going to happen, and when we desire, against Krishna's will, then we'll be used, by Krishna's will in a way that ultimately His will happens, right? You know, and in this regard, at this point of time also we may discuss this. There's so many pastimes and so many things we may quote, but just very recently in this regard, we know that one particular politician, tried to, harm the Krishna consciousness movement by putting allegation that, okay, maybe ISKCON devotees, they don't send the cows to slaughterhouses. Just no one can even imagine to put such a blame within Krishna movement. Even all the people who are connected. I remember, even people who are well-wisher, they're not even chanting Hare Krishna. Even they were saying that it is impossible. This doesn't make any sense. And what happened, what was the result is that someone trying to oppose Krishna consciousness movement, right, trying to think that, okay, I will obstruct Krishna movement. But right now the will of the Supreme Lord is that Krishna movement should expand, right? And hence we find that someone trying to oppose, instead of opposition taking place, what happened is that Krishna movement expanded. People started to come to know more about ISKCON. They wanted to come to Goshala to visit Goshalas. Okay, what happens in Goshala? And in that way, you know, the propagation increased only, right? And as far as the politician who was trying to stop, you know, that politician got into much bigger difficulty. So that's what happens. That and that when we don't understand the will of the Lord and when we act, we create our problem for ourselves only, and we have to act. And hence, it is compulsory necessary that we understand, try to find out what is the will of the Lord. We'll discuss on this topic. Let us complete the verses. And then the next verse, text 7. Lord Shiva said, so be it. So Sanatana Goswami says that Lord Shiva is saying from the sky. He is not appearing in front. And then he ordered Maya Danav. On his order, Maya Danava, who conquers his enemy cities, constructed a flying iron city named Saubha and presented it to Shalva. So in that way, Lord Shiva told Maya Danava to construct. He is a super architect, very, very special. He also made Indraprastha, but he is especially architect of the demons. So um, for Shalva, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So he constructed a nice aircraft, and it is like a flying iron city. That's what Yanam. The word is used, Yan, but this is a flying iron city. So Puram, it's like a whole city is there. There's so many things in that. So it's not a iron yarn only like we have, but it is like city. One don't. It's not like a congested inside. Just you have to see it. It's much advanced, version of aeroplanes. Right. Then this next text 8. This uns unsailable vehicle was filled with darkness and could go anywhere. Upon obtaining it, Shalva went to Dwarka, remembering the Vrishni's enmity towards him. So Sa Labdva Kamagam Yanam. So this Yanam has Kamagam, that means it can travel with whatever, wherever, with your speed of mind at his will. You don't have to like have a control room below or something, just at his will. And then Tamodhama. So especially Acharyas explain about Tamodhama means it is filled with darkness, because it is filled with so much darkness that it was very difficult to see the Siyan. So like that, it was like if it is in the sky, you can't see where it is. So like that. So that is the commentary. Next, text 9 to 11. Shalva besieged the city with large army. Now the Shalva is attacking Dwarka. He reached Dwarka. O best of the Bharatas, decimating the outlying parks and gardens, the mansions along with their observatories, towering gateways and surrounding walls, and also the public recreational areas. From his excellent airship, he threw down a torrent of weapons, including stones, tree trunks, thunderbolts, snakes, and hailstones. A fierce whirlwind arose and blanketed all directions with dust. So, in that way, finally, he is creating, as the benediction was, that Vrishni Bhishanam. So, he's creating a great turmoil in Dwarka. Acharya has given an interesting point that that although he created all this problem and difficulties, but actually he couldn't destroy Dwarka's anything. Right? Dwarka was not affected. He was throwing all these things, but Dwarka was not getting affected. So Acharya is explained like that. So it was because because whatever Krishna wants will happen, and that's why the demonic plans are always a failure. Plans which are against will of Krishna is always a failure. Lord Shiva is also not happy to give him the benediction. See, so we don't get the blessings of Krishna, of devotees, then we can't do anything. Right? Nothing is possible. Then text 12. Thus terribly tormented by the airship Shobha, Lord Krishna's city had no peace. O king, just like the earth when it was attacked by three aerial cities of demon. Tripurena Yathamahi. So Acharya also give understanding that Tripurena Yathamahi means when Tripura Sur attacked the earth, that time it was so disturbed like that. So all the devotees in Dwarka, they are disturbed. And that point of time, the leader Pradyumna, he came forward. Text 13. Seeing his subjects so harassed, the glorious and heroic Lord Pradyumna told them, "Do not fear," and mounted his chariot. So at that point of time, Pradyumna comes forward, and Acharyas explain in commentary that Pradyumna told to Balaram, because Balaram is there. Lord Krishna is not there, but Balaram is there. So he told to Balaramji that, you please be here, I will take care of this demon. And in that way he left. And Pradyumna was the eldest son of Krishna, the son of Rukmani. He went out. Text 14. The chief commanders of the chariot warriors, Sattaki, Charudeshna, Samba, Akrura, and his younger brothers, along with Hardikya, Bhanuvinda, Gada, Shuka, and Sharana, went out of the city with many others eminent bowmen, all girded in armor and protected by contingents of soldiers riding on chariots, elephants, and horses, and also by companies of infantry. Text 16. A tumultuous, hair-raising battle then commenced between Shalva's forces and the Yadus. It equaled the great battles between the demons and the demigods. So powerful battles. You can imagine Krishna's army and Shalva's great forces. So powerful battle. It equaled the battles of demons and demigods. Text 17. With his divine weapons, Pradyumna instantly destroyed all of Shalva's magic illusions in the same way that the warm rays of sun dissipate the darkness of night. So Pradyumna is powerful. He is the Supreme Lord. Acharyas in this commentary explains especially who is Pradyumna, because he is a third of the Chaturvyuha. So that's why he is the Supreme Lord, and hence for him to destroy these illusions of Shalva was very easy. So easily he destroyed all these illusions. Next text 18. Lord Pradyumna's arrows all had gold shafts, iron heads, and perfectly smooth joints. With 25 of them, he struck down Shalva's commander-in-chief, Dyuman, and with 100, he struck Shalva himself. Then he pierced Shalva's officers with one arrow each, his chariot drivers with 10 arrows each, and his horses and other carriers with 3 arrows each. When they saw the glorious Pradyumna perform that amazing and mighty feat, all the soldiers on both sides praised him. So everyone was amazed. At one moment, The magic airship built by Maya Danava appeared in many identical forms, and in the next moment it was again only one. Sometimes it was visible and sometimes not. Thus, Shalva's opponents could never be sure where it was. Text 22. From one moment to the next, the Shobha airship appeared on the earth, in the sky, on the mountain peak, or in the water, like a whirling, flaming baton. It never remained in any one place. Wherever Shalva would appear with his Shobha ship and his army, there the Yadu commanders would shoot their arrows. Shalva became bewildered upon seeing his army and aerial city. Thus, harassed by his enemies' arrows, which struck like fire and the sun, and were as intolerable as snake venom. Purport. Srila Sridhar Swami explains that the arrows of Yadu commanders burned like fire, struck simultaneously from all sides like sun's rays, and like snake venom were lethal by a single touch. And in this verse, text 24, Shalva is feeling so disturbed and he is bewildered and he will now take some action. But we can understand the power of Pradyumna's army. And then actually, Shalva is also very powerfully fighting. And we have now today's verse, text 25, which is on the board, uh, is explaining the response of the Pradyumna's army of Vrishni clan. Text 25. Because the heroes of Vrishni clan were eager for victory in this world and the next, they did not abandon their assigned post on the battlefield, even though the downpour of weapons hurled by Shalva's commanders tormented them. So, especially it says it was very painful. Brisha Ardita. It say Vrishni Veera, Brisha Ardita. They were very much pained by the sharp arrows, shot by the Shalva's army. But still, na tatyaju, they did not abandon. Ranam Swam Swam, their own places in which they were situated. They didn't abandon. Because, Loka Dva Jigishava, because they were very clear that if they win, they will be here happy, and even if they die in this battlefield, they it is all for pleasure of Krishna. Obviously, Prabhupada writes they'll go to heaven, right? But ultimately, for devotees, when they're fighting, they are going back to Godhead, even if they leave their bodies in their battlefield. So, in this way, we can see that as we are discussing and as we are seeing in this, there are two kinds of actions, right? We can see that we have to act anyways. We cannot live without acting. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Nahi kaschit shanamapi jatu tishtati akarma krit. That one, even for a moment, one cannot be uh, without any work. One need to do something, right? Always one is acting, right? And the option we have. So to act, we don't have hundreds of options. There are only two options. One option is to align with Krishna's will, and that is called as Krishna consciousness. And another is to not align, and that is actually demonic. As we have discussed that by not aligning, we can't create even some disturbance. Someone thinks I can create some disturbance, not possible to Krishna's plan. Only we do is harm ourselves, right? And like we find even in Indra. Now we may think that okay, demons means like Shalva is a demon, but even Indra, who is a very wonderful devotee and given a very responsible position, took this thought process. So a thought process which is not aligning with Krishna's will, you know, can come to anyone, right? Especially for a conditioned soul, any point of time. And Indra, we found that how he started thinking that what is this, and these Brajvasis are not offering me puja, they have offered to Govardhan, so I am going to destroy all of them. So what a demonic thought process he got. But for Krishna and the Brajvasis, and Vrindavan, you can't do harm. You know. So although he tried his best, he poured rains and this, that, but then it is explained that the Brajvasis' intensity of love for Krishna only increased. And then finally Krishna lifted Govardhan. And it became a even more beautiful pastime for all the Brajvasis, for Krishna, and and even Govardhan had such a wonderful happiness that Krishna is lifting me. Everyone is so happy. And Andra's hard work couldn't even destroy even one leaf. It is said that not even a blade of grass or a leaf from a tree on the top of Govardhan Indra was not able to you know, break a leaf. So that was the humiliation Indra had to go through. And Krishna's plan will be always be successful. Right? So in that way, you know, it's very necessary for at every moment we need to act. Shanamapi. Krishna says that at every moment we have to act. So to find out what is Krishna's will. Hence, now the only question remains, is to find out what is Krishna's will. Right? And this is a question at every moment. Right? That okay, what is Krishna's will? If we can understand that, and act accordingly, our life will be glorious. Right? And we can understand Krishna's will not whimsically, not through our own mind and intelligence. Our mind, intelligence, our own capacity fails. And that's why we need to take shelter of Guru. So we can understand only through Guru. Because he knows God's will. Hence, without having a Guru and without aligning with the instructions of Guru, without thinking that how I am day by day aligning what he wants, our actions have no meaning. It will simply destroy us, right? And so we have to see that we are aligning, we are understanding what Guru wants, right? And we have to ask every day, whenever, every moment actually, whenever we are acting, that for whose pleasure, for for whom am I breathing, for whom am I living, for whom I am doing today. I am going to do this activity for whose pleasure, right? So this alignment, you know, with the Guru Parampara is alignment with Krishna, right? And when we begin to align with the desires of Guru, you know, actually that also requires a lot of discipline in our lives to be able to align with Guru, right? And that's why the alignment begins, you know, uh, with the basic aspects of our own life. So when we are aligned in our basic aspects, then slowly we can understand how to align throughout the day. That means especially Srila Prabhupada has given us morning program. So when we are aligning ourselves in the basic morning program very nicely, you know, uh, step by step, then it's possible remaining 24 hours to align with the desire of Guru. For example, in the morning program, we begin with some Sardava prayers. So it's there is a possibility, it happens at least with me, that when we are standing in front of the Lord and we are singing Samsara Dava, there is a chance that we are not aligning within ourselves, to do what we are supposed to be doing. We may be so aligning ourselves within ourselves is very important. Our own body, mind, and words. We may be singing something, seeing something, and thinking something, right? So that is the first alignment. That okay, we are singing Samsara Dava, we are meditating on the glories of Guru, and we are singing the holy names. We are, dancing in front of Nitai Gauranga for their pleasure, right? So in that way, when we are aligning like that, with the basics, basics which has been given, then we are, nursing Aarti, we are praying to Nursing Dev for our protection, the protection of the Krishna's moment. We are praying to Tulsi Maharani, for actually be engaged and absorbed in loving service to Radha Govinda. And then after that, we're chanting Hare Krishna, which is a genuine cry of the jiva suffering in this material world. That my dear Lord, please accept me, please accept me. I am suffering from so many, my senses and my mind is harassing me, please accept me. So when we are in that way, genuinely calling out, and we are doing all the aspects, Guru Puja, the Bhagavatam class, everything. And when we are sitting for even Prasadam, we are taking Prasadam. So when we are aligned with these basics, then this habit of aligning actually with our activities will creep into our remaining 24 hours. This morning program, if we can align. So that is the secret. When we are standing in front of deities, we are aligning with taking darshan of Nitai Gauranga for their pleasure, right? For their pleasure. So that is meaning of, and when we are aligning in that way with the basic, then 24 hours we are always conscious of, how to act in a way that pleases Guru and Krishna, and in that way we always remember Krishna, and that is Kirtaniya Sadahari. That is very much practical. So I'll give very nice in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. We were reading very important, powerful, intense purports of Srila Prabhupada. This is a section where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Vrindavan Dham. He's reached Sri Vrindavan Dham, and he is and he is having very wonderful special time uh, roaming in Vrindavan. And meanwhile, while Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is having nice time in Vrindavan, meanwhile, what is happening is, uh, so that very beautiful description of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu roaming to the 12 forests of Vrindavan also. So what happened is that there was a, a commotion. Many people in Vrindavan started to talk about one special thing, that Krishna has come to Vrindavan, right? And And it made sense. Yeah, that's true. That was true also, that Krishna has come to Vrindavan. But they were saying Krishna has come to Vrindavan not here. Krishna has come to Vrindavan in Kaliyada, right? In Kaliya Hriday, in the Kaliya lake, right? And everyone was going there to see Krishna. you so I'll read from Madhya Lila, chapter 18, text 92 onwards, and we will see one very deep, important lesson which Prabhupada tells in the purport. so, uh, so text 91. Everywhere the Lord went, all people said, Krishna has again manifested in Vrindavan. You know, One morning, many people came to Akrura Tirth. They came from Vrindavan. They made tumultuous sound. Prabhu dekhi korila log charana bandhan. Prabhu kahe kahan hai te karila agaman. Upon seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all people offered respects at his lotus feet. The Lord and asked, where are you all coming from? लोके कहे कृष्ण प्रकट कालिया दहर जले कालिया शिरे नृत्य करे फाणन ratna jwale. The people replied that Krishna has again manifested himself on the waters of the Kaliya lake. He dances on the hoods of serpent Kaliya, and the jewels on those hoods are blazing. साक्षात देखिला लोक नाही का संशय सुनी हसी प्रभु कहे सब सत्य है. Everyone has seen Krishna himself, there is no doubt, like that they were saying about. Hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to laugh. He then said, everything is correct. Sab satya hai. And later on it is explained that what is the meaning of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying Sab satya hai, because they're saying that yes, there's no doubt everyone has seen Krishna. They're speaking to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes, it is true because you're seeing me. No? That's true. Sab satya hai. यही मत तीन रात्रि लोके रागमन सबे आसी कहे कृष्णा पाइलो दर्शन. For 3 successive nights, people went to Kaliya Daha to see Krishna, and everyone returned saying, now we have seen Krishna himself. प्रभु आगे कहे लोग श्री कृष्ण देखिला सरस्वती यही वाक्य सत्य कहाइला. That's what is explained. Everyone came before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said, now we have directly seen Lord Krishna. Thus, by the mercy of goddess of learning, they were made to speak the truth. Actually, they were not speaking, but now. Mahaprabhu dekhi satya Krishna darshana Nija jnane satya chhadi asatya satya brahma. When the people saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they actually saw Krishna. But because they were following their own imperfect knowledge, they accepted wrong thing as Krishna. Now the important verse. भट्टाचार्य तबे कहे प्रभु चरणे आज्ञा देहा जाई करी कृष्ण दर्शने. At that time, Balbhadra Bhattacharya placed a request at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, please give me permission to go see Lord Krishna directly. So this was a big thing. And now purport. The puzzled people who visited Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were actually seeing Lord Krishna. But they were mistaken in thinking that Lord Krishna had come to Kalia Lake. They all said that they had seen Krishna directly performing his pastimes on the hoods of serpent Kalia, and that jewels on Kalia's hood were blazing brilliantly. Because they were speculating with their imperfect knowledge, they saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as an ordinary human being and a boatman's light in the lake as Krishna. One must see things as they are through the mercy of a spiritual master. Otherwise, if one tries to see Krishna directly, he may mistake an ordinary man for Krishna or Krishna for an ordinary man. So that is very important, that to understand what Krishna wants or what is truth, right? What is really Krishna's desire. We can understand only through spiritual masters. So that Prabhupada makes a very strong point. Right? Everyone has to see Krishna according to the verdict of Vedic literatures presented by the self-realized spiritual master. A sincere person is able to see Krishna through the transparent via media of Sri Gurudev, the spiritual master. Unless one is enlightened by the knowledge given by the spiritual master, he cannot see things as they are, even though he remains constantly with the spiritual master. Very important. So one is staying constantly with the spiritual master, and one is actually seeing things, as given by the spiritual master. This incident of Kalia Da, Prabhupada makes the last line of this purport more heavy. This incident at Kalia Daha is very instructive for those eager to advance in Krishna consciousness. Right? So, because it gives a very, although it's a simple pastime, we may hear several times. When I read the purports, felt that Prabhupada is really making a very strong point here. that and that actually it's so very important, as we discussed, that to understand the will of Krishna and to align ourselves. But then, how do we understand? Sometimes with our own mind, we may come to some conclusion, and if that we are doing by speculation, then we may. And Prabhupada is saying that we may consider ordinary man to be Krishna and Krishna to be ordinary. Similarly, we may understand Krishna's mission to be ordinary material activities, and to be ordinary material activities, we may consider this is will of Lord. So how we can be bewildered actually if we are not aligning and understanding the will of Guru properly. Even though very important thing is, Prabhupada says further, because time is not there, so now we will be able to read everything, but I'll read little bit still, because Prabhupada's purports, very important words of Srila Prabhupada, just repeating is sufficient. So, so next verse I'll just read. When Balbhadra Bhattacharya asked to see Krishna at Kaliyada, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mercifully slapped him. न तबे तार कहे प्रभु छापड़ मारिया मूर्खेरा वाक्य मूर्ख हैला पंडित हैया. And what he said, you are a learned scholar, but you have become a fool being influenced by the statements of other fools. And now Prabhupada's purport, very important. He was saying, Maya is so strong that even a person like Balbhadra Bhattacharya, who was constantly staying with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was influenced by the words of fools. He wanted to see Krishna directly by going to Kaliyadaha. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being the original spiritual master, would not allow his servant to fall into such foolishness. He therefore chastised him, slapping him, just to bring him to a real sense of Krishna consciousness. So very important. So both the pastime of Balbhadra Bhattacharya, being very close association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, serving Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the pastime of Kal Krishna, uh, Kal Krishna, right? Kal Krishna Das. Kal Krishna, we see that serving Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so personally, but still Maya so strong. Srila Prabhupada in another purport about talking about Kal Krishna, he makes one point with which I'll just conclude. And that actually it is not possible by our effort, by our intelligence, to be able to conquer over Maya. So about Kal Krishna, Prabhupada makes a very important point. Yeah. So many points. One point I'll just read. Maya is so strong that unless one is determined not to fall victim, even the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot give protection. So, so that means here lies an important point, that now to align with Krishna's will, to understand uh, Guru's desire, we have to be also be very determined that I really want to genuinely, sincerely want to understand what Guru wants, what Krishna wants. Right? I don't want to cheat myself by finding my own ways. Just like those who are Brahman initiated, many of you sitting here, we know that in Guru Gayatri there is a word which means that may I understand the desire of Guru. May I understand Guru. Right? That's a prayer. That's a very intense prayer, in the Gayatri mantra, and everyone can pray anyways to Krishna that may we understand actually the desire of spiritual master, which is obviously given so easily, but by sincerely serving, we may understand, and that's why we have to be always protected under guidance of devotees, under Vaishnavas who are sincerely following and serving spiritual master. In that way, we can learn how to align ourselves with the will of Krishna, and then all our actions will be meaningful. And if we don't do that, we have our own idea of what Krishna wants, or even to see Krishna, as Balbhat Bhattacharya we are saying, one wants to see Krishna in his own whimsical way, then one will be bewildered, because Maya is very, very strong. Thank you very much. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, हरे कृष्ण। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।